Hey there, welcome back to No Recipe Required. I'm Dave, hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to do a couple steaks for you. Now, too often when I talk to friends, they talk about doing steaks out on the grill and that's really the only place they can do it. Well, I don't buy that. Those of us who live in apartments, we're not going to get relegated to a life without steak. We're going to eat it whenever we want. Today, I'm going to show you how to do it on the range, in the oven. While I respect the grill, I love the grill, I'll do steaks on the grill whenever I can. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing it right in the kitchen. I'm going to do two steaks for you tonight, two different cuts. I've got a filet and I've got a New York strip. They're both great. Again, two of my favorites. They require a little bit different cooking in terms of timing, but really it's not all that different in terms of technique, which is what I care about most. So let's go ahead. We'll season them up, show you how to do that, and then cook them off. So I've got my two steaks here. Like I said, I'm going to do a New York strip. I'm also going to do a filet. I've already seasoned one side with salt and pepper, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Now I like to season pretty aggressively because a good bit of that salt and pepper is going to come off in the pan. And generally as well, the steaks are pretty thick, so don't be too shy about getting a good bit of pepper and a good bit of salt on there. I'm going to cook them as well, like I said, in the pan. And my filet, despite being quite a bit smaller in total volume, is actually a good half an inch or so thicker than the New York. So it's actually going to take a little bit longer to cook. I'm going to go ahead and put a little salt on there. So I'm going to start the filet first, despite it being a smaller steak. I like to cook my steaks to medium rare. If you want to go medium, that's fine. I kind of think you go medium well. It's a bit of a sin, but if that's what you like, go ahead and do it. We're gonna go ahead once these are seasoned. I've got a pan heating up on the oven or on the range. I like to press in the seasoning like that a little bit, just so it sticks to the meat a little bit more. Once we get our pan hot, we'll go ahead and sear these off. So I've got my pan. This is the what I'm going to cook the steaks in. Obviously, it's on high heat and it's been on for a couple minutes. I've got it smoking hot, and I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. It's going to immediately start smoking. You don't have to use olive oil. I've got I always use it. I've got it handy. If you want to use vegetable oil, anything like that is perfectly fine. It's a little bit expensive to kind of use this way. You're not getting any of the flavor of it. You can see how much it's smoking. That's actually what I want. I want that good heat. I'm going to go ahead, like I said, I'm going to put the filet in first. Usually presentation side down first. So what I'm going to put down first is eventually what I'm going to flip over and put on the plate. I'm going to let that go for really just about 30 seconds or so before I go ahead and put in my New York. I'm doing that again because this steak is just a little bit thicker. Okay guys, so it's been just like I said, about 30 seconds or so. I'm going to continue to sear this filet on the one side. I've got my other steak, my New York strip. I'm going to lay that right down next to it. Again, you want a nice intense sizzle on that. We're looking to get a good deep dark crust on the underside of the on both sides of the steak. If you've got a hood or you got a vent, you probably want to turn it on or open a window. Frankly, it's going to smoke a little bit. That's totally normal, totally fine. It's exactly what you want. I guarantee it. It's not burning. We're really gonna, again, searing. We're gonna leave it alone. Let it sit there for probably 4 minutes or so without touching it. Get that nice dark crust, and then we're gonna flip it over. We're going to let it cook on the other side, and then I'm going to give you a couple different options for finishing it off. Okay, so it's been literally 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes since I put that first filet in, and I have not flipped it. I did check it once, I'll admit that, but you can see I've got this nice golden brown color on the steak. It's not burned at all. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm going to go ahead and flip that around. I'm also, again, different thicknesses, right? So now this is about the same time, ready to flip. I'm going to go ahead and flip that as well. Now you can take the steak in a couple directions here. I've got the oven on 375, 400 degrees. I can just go ahead and take this and put the whole pan right in the oven. And that's going to do two things. One, the full heat around is going to finish cooking the steak. And the fact that it's down on the hot pan is going to sear the other side, so you'll get that same nice crustiness on the other side. The other way to finish the steak is actually fully on the stove top here. I like to turn it down maybe just a little bit to medium heat. And then I've got some herbs here. I've got some rosemary and I've got some thyme. You can do this, by the way. You can put the herbs in the oven as well. But this is more of a basting technique. And frankly, it's probably not as healthy. You got a steak though. Why do you need to be healthy? I'm going to go ahead and take a nice knob of butter, throw that in as well, and let that melt. And then what's going to happen? You've got the olive oil in there. You've got now the melted butter, and essentially we're going to start basting the steak with that butter and with that olive oil that's now infused with the herbs. So just kind of tilt the pan a little bit and then drizzle that butter and that oil over the top. And that does a couple things. One, it imparts obviously the butter flavor, which is caramelized and gotten a nice nutty flavor, as well as the herb flavor. And then it also obviously cooks from the top now. You're adding additional heat on top. And it really does not take a lot of time when you do this method. I'm going to go ahead and feel it. You essentially can start. You do this a couple times, you'll get used to the time. But then you also use your finger and kind of test the doneness. You're going by firm texture. I think these are done, and literally it's been about 6 or 7 minutes of total cooking time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the heat off, or essentially all the way down to low. I've got a piece of aluminum foil here that I'm going to go ahead and transfer my steaks to. And I'm going to wrap those up in foil, let them rest. It's important to let steaks rest for a good 3 to 5 minutes or so. Let those juices relax in there. Then I'm going to go ahead and make a peppercorn sauce. All right, so we've rested our steaks for a good 5 or 6 minutes. Both the fillet is here, as well as the New York strip. You can go ahead. I like to actually heat my plate up, and you can go ahead, serve that right in the middle. Heat the plate up. I like to put it in the oven for 10 or 15 minutes on whatever you were cooking the oven on. Really doesn't matter. Most of us have oven-proof plates. Then you can go ahead, serve it as is. In the foil that you've got a little of that juice will come dripping right out. You can go ahead and serve that right on top. Is great. Put whatever accompaniments you want on the side. The sauce I've got here is a peppercorn sauce. I'm just going to go ahead and drizzle that right on top of the steak and a little bit around. And then you can serve this as is, or with obviously with any other accompaniment, potato, cream spinach, anything you want. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.